Hey Salesforce Hubs, my name is Shruthinarasi. I am a Salesforce coach and freelance Salesforce professional. Thank you for taking few minutes to be here today. This session is not about speed or trends, it's about perspective, intent and thoughtful growth within the Salesforce ecosystem. 500 subscribers, one standard thoughtful Salesforce learning. As professionals, we often separate personal reflection from professional learning, but in reality, discipline and clarity are transferable skills. In 2026, Mahashivratri falls on 15th and 16th of February. Shivratri symbolizes stillness, awareness and intentional effort. It is observed not as a celebration of noise, but as a practice of restraint, focus and inner alignment. These are qualities that quietly define strong professionals as well, especially in technology where long-term thinking matters more than short-term momentum. That brings me naturally to Salesforce, not just as a platform but as an ecosystem shaped by long-term vision rather than short-term execution. When it comes to Salesforce and the paradigm, I want you to understand the difference between the I have cold and I was not able to upload few of the videos because of the series of interviews which I have prepared and was preparing for about 2 weeks, and I feel that you have to just take care of your health and focus on your the video which I have uploaded, that is maybe 2 weeks prior to this, the upload of this video. And I want you to understand that when we read, write and edit by using OWDs, that is the setting which you have to tag as a reference, where you have to insert 2 parameters. That is, first parameter is related to the data and the collection, and the second parameter is related to the OWD. That is the anthropology, where you have to write the references. That is the granule or the reference which is quoted as a granular momentum, where we write A and B as the reference and C and D as the momentum, where we have to understand that the 2 references which are preferably quoted as a annotation in the vertical can be referred to as the reference. That is, the data model can be segregated into 2 vertebrae or the 2 momentum, where after we read, write and when we want to edit, A will get edited after B gets saved and C will get edited after D gets saved. So this is the OWD setting which is part of my course as well. Coming to my course, I have I sell courses for rupees 750 for the live sessions and 500 for the self-paced sessions, that is admin, developer and advanced developer courses. And when it comes to self-paced courses, you will be you will receive the material and you can ask questions related to the material and the assignments which are part of the curriculum. And when it comes to live sessions, I will be conducting the live sessions, that is after maybe next week, next Monday or Tuesday, I can start. Or if the batches are getting aligned as per my curriculum or the memorandum which I will be forwarding to my students, then 23rd is the day where I will start the batch. But if I'm able to allot the sessions after 23rd, then I'll be able to understand the context of the medium through which you want me to assign the task. Okay, so now when it comes to Salesforce leadership, Salesforce was co-founded and is led by Mark Benioff, and I want to congratulate him because of the new referral which he is part of, that is Agent Force, and I put it as referral because it is just part of his memorandum and not as a propaganda. Now, and I want this to be part of the curriculum of yours, that is pressure and the stifling notation. I'm quoting it as notation and not as quotation or the notification. I'm making fun of the visuals which will be quoted as a reference, where it is stifling. The stifling environment of Salesforce is part of our curriculum where we all are under pressure. But if you want to quit a company and if you want to be part of Capgemini, then I want you to understand that Mark Benioff, who serves as chairman and CEO, and now understand the context. What distinguishes Salesforce is not only its technology, and this is what he is quoted in few of the posts of his, but it is philosophy or philosophy. Now, when it comes to philosophy, where I'm trying to understand your thoughts when it comes to the words which we are using, and when we write after and before edit or before save triggers, we will understand that you will be able to understand that the philosophy which I am quoting as a reference to the vertical, that is cloud first, customer centric and values driven. So these are the four agendas. First agenda is integrity, which we understood. Okay, now when it comes to the agenda and the reference, where we can edit and save the vertical by just re-editing or updating the formulae. That is, if you want the formulated evidence, that is the research which you have conducted, to be part of this identity, where integrity is the first motive of an individual, then it goes to customer satisfaction, that is CRM, and the user stories. And the last part of this those are the user stories and the values which we inculcate when we are part of Salesforce. And the last part of this curriculum is cloud first should be quoted as a reference and not as a customer centric approach, and not the circumference through which we can quote our curriculum. Okay. Now, under this leadership, Salesforce normalized cloud computing for enterprises, invested deeply in trust and security. Or when we speak about security, and the reference which we can quote as a first, second or third order of execution, where I see that the Salesforce Order of Execution is part of the curriculum, where system validation before triggers customer validation rules. Now, and then you can refer to this picture where we have duplicate rules and then after triggers. So when we speak about the Salesforce order of execution, it is clear that this validation should be part of this triggers, or part of this order of execution, where triggers are part of this execution, because after we type the data, we have to select save so that the after trigger starts performing. The assignment rules, auto response rules, workflow rules, processes, escalation rules and roll up summary fields are part of this curriculum because of the after trigger updates. Okay, so now when we speak about security, you should understand the order of execution. Now, under this leadership, that is of Mark Benioff, Salesforce normalized cloud computing for enterprises, invested deeply in trust and security, and created a global learning ecosystem that allows professionals from diverse backgrounds to participate meaningfully in the tech economy. Now, why leadership awareness matters? Okay, coming to the topic for today, where in interviews, especially system integrators like Capgemini, panels do not only evaluate what you know. They observe how you contextualize what you know. Understanding the platform's leadership and direction signals maturity. It shows that you see not merely a collection of features or certifications. At a personal and professional level, I would like to acknowledge and thank Mark Benioff for shaping a platform that prioritizes innovation with responsibility. Salesforce has enabled millions of professionals worldwide to build careers grounded in adaptability, continuous learning, and ethical technology. Today's session is practical and interview aligned. I'll be walking you through the questions from the PPT, explaining not just the answers but how interviewers expect you to think while answering them. The goal is not memorization, the goal is articulation, structure, and execution awareness. The qualities that differentiate interview clearance from interview preparation. Now, welcome to today's session, and this is a mock interview questionnaire where the first question is part of your curriculum. What is Salesforce and why is it used? Salesforce is a cloud-based CRM platform used to manage sales, service, marketing, and customer data efficiently. When we answer this question, we should understand the vertical cloud-based CRM. When we speak about cloud-based CRM, we can speak about cloud and the basics of cloud CRM. That is, this is a Google Drive. That is this is a cloud-based system. For example, Slack, and we want Slack to be integrated in the sales part of the curriculum with A to B as a data-centric approach, where A is part of this curriculum as data and B is part of this curriculum as the operation, that is the validation rule, for example. Now, when we speak about cloud and data management, we have to understand that we have to manage sales, service, marketing, and customer data efficiently. So when we have to perform an action efficiently, we have to understand that the curriculum which you are part of should be enhanced according to the vertical. Now when it comes to my course, that is course which is part of Codeforce Chronicles, and I will forward the curriculum to you after you refer your context to me as a subscriber or as a follower on LinkedIn, Instagram or Twitter, and my number is 805003307. You can be part of my curriculum after you receive an update that you are safe with your itinerary. That is, if you are part of this curriculum and if you want to pursue admin, developer and advanced developer courses which are interlinked, then you can purchase all the 3 courses. But if you are sure that you are clear with the fundamentals of admin, then you can be part of the developer course. Now, difference between role and profile. Profile controls permissions. Role controls record visibility through role hierarchy. Now, what is the difference between role and profile? Means that if we so now let's differentiate. Profile controls permissions, role controls record visibility. But when it comes to role hierarchy, profiles control the permissions along with the licenses and the itineraries which are quoted as a reference, that is profile, roles and permission sets. But when we use the context, that is profile controls permissions of the users, this will help you to contextualize the concept the way the interviewer wants you to enhance your itinerary. So, profile controls permissions and role controls record visibility through role hierarchy, where users are part of this alignment as a vertical and as a medium through which you can control the permissions. So, this is the answer which you have to iterate when you are providing a substantial evidence as a reference to your itineraries. Now, what is a validation rule? A rule that enforces data quality by preventing record sale if conditions are not met. Now, when we speak about validation rules, we can provide a reference, that is the TTT management. So, what is TTT management? When it comes to TTT management, this is a technique through which you can write a code and refer it to your circumference. Now, T is technical, that means you have to write the validation rule based on the condition. So, this is the condition. Okay. Second T is time. So, the time that you take to complete writing the condition, that is maybe for a minute or not 1 minute, sorry, maybe 5 minutes. Again, it depends on your experience. Last T is for, this is something which you will understand. Technical means the condition which you have to write, time and telecast. Means you have to frame the condition in 5 minutes and you have to provide the solution. When it comes to telecasting the references, we can provide a substantial evidence, that is a validation rule. This part of the BRD, that is the document which will help you to understand the reference. If you are a fresher, you should understand BRD is a document where we can understand the client's specification. Okay. Now, when we speak about this rule as data quality or the issues after sale, a validation rule can be enforced as a mechanism through which data quality and quantity can be measured through conditions after they are met under the circumference, and not as a mediocre in the enforcement. What is the difference between? Okay, the next question is, what is a workflow? So that is the fourth question. an automation tool used for simple actions like email alerts, field updates, and tasks. But when we speak about the field updates and tasks, we should be able to understand that the email alerts are fired after we quote the simple actions as a reference and not as a medium, where tasks can be executed after the updates are performed. What is the difference between workflow and flow? Workflow is limited. Flow is powerful and supports complex logic and before or after sale automation. Now, so I'm sorry, I thought of providing the statement as automation during the session. It is tough to handle the health issues which is helping us to grow, but not as a medium through which we have to keep repeating the sentences. So the topic, sorry, not the sentences again. Sorry, my bad. I need to focus now on explaining this concept where flow is powerful and it supports complex logic. When we think about flow as a reciprocation where flow and the management with the screen flow, for example, or the record trigger flow, record trigger flow is part of this itinerary. And if we have to understand that the vertical which is part of this before or after save automation, then we have to limit the flow conditions. That is, instead of using loop, use assignment as a solution. What is object level security? Controls access to objects using profiles and permission sets. This is simple, but when we have to elaborate the preferences, that is, profiles and permission sets are part of this curriculum as identities where profiles help us to perform the edit, read, and save mechanisms, and permission sets are additional verticals which are part of this mechanism where profiles help us to perform the security level performances or the priorities, and permission sets are just additional priorities which can be part of the curriculum. What is field level security? It controls visibility and edit access of fields. So when it comes to the field level security, we should understand that the controls are part of the visibility and access, and it will help us to edit the fields and not the object when it comes to the field level security. What is record level security? Control using OWD, role hierarchy, sharing rules, and manual sharing. These are part of the curriculum, but when we speak about the OWD settings, I want you to understand that OWD means, what is OWD? It is part of this itinerary where I feel that this picture is not helping us to understand the context. So I will help you to understand this picture only if you are able to view the okay, I think it's not, I'm I'm not able to add the picture. But when we speak about the OWD settings, I'm sorry about the I'm not able to zoom the picture. But when we now when we speak about the OWD settings, we should understand that we should be able to narrate the consequences. That is, if the OWD settings are not part of the curriculum or the memorandum, then we have to just add the references and not the context, where we can understand that the OWD settings can be part of the role hierarchy, sharing rules and manual sharing. But when we speak about the manual sharing as a vertical, we can't quote that as a reference even in future. So when it comes to OWD settings, I feel you have to refer to the videos which I've created, where you can understand the context which is part of the itinerary, or you can be part of my course, where I will help you to understand the OWD settings in detail. What are OWD settings? They define the default access level for records. So now when it comes to access level and record level settings, we should understand that the preference should be quoted as a vertical and not as a vertebrae. Now, the medium through which where we can quote the references are part of this curriculum but not as an identity. What is the difference between lookup and master detail relationship? Master detail enforces ownership and roll-up. Lookup is loosely coupled. So when we speak about master detail and the relationship that is part of the curriculum, where we can speak about the master detail relationship, where the details of the data can be referred to as tightly coupled and the rest of the identity, that is the lookup relationship, is loosely coupled because of one reason. The tightly coupled references are part of this curriculum and not as a management, where we can enforce the narrations by asking the memorandum to be part of this curriculum and not as a propaganda, where A and this is B and these are two verticals where you can understand the context. That is the reference, that is A, and this is B. I'm sorry about the background noise. If it is not affecting your curriculum, then I can proceed with this video, where I see that the audience are mature and they are able to understand my the problem which I am facing. Okay, so now when it comes to A and B, they are loosely coupled, and if we add another identity, that is C, then you can't write C until we can't provide the data to and click the save button, because A and B are part of this curriculum. They are loosely coupled, and if we add C, then we have to add it as a master detail relationship and not as a lookup relationship. What is a page layout? It controls UI layout, fields, buttons and sections on a record page. Now when we speak about record page and the field level security, it is clear that the buttons and the clicks are part of the curriculum and not as an identity. Where in Capgemini you will be questioned about the admin part of the curriculum as well, where if you join my course you'll be able to clear at least or answer at least the admin questions, which will be part of the interview, where you have to add the layout to the page and save the button. After that you have to perform epics triggers as a medium through which where you can add the roll-up summary fields. So when it comes to the admin part of this curriculum, where I've covered the entire portion of the curriculum in the admin series, I want you to understand the references which are quoted as a preference and not as a mediocre in the itineraries. Now, what is a record type? It is used to show different page layouts and pick list values for different users. So now when it comes to record type, there are two ways to handle a record type. First, you have to show the different page layouts and then the pick list values for different users. But when we speak about the record type, it is clear that the page layouts should be different and the pick list values should be similar, so that we can understand the context and not the vertical where we can provide our circumference. What are permission sets? They extend user access without changing profiles. So when we think about the extension of the access or the addition of the access, where we can perform the iteration without changing the profiles, we should be able to answer the question that they extend user access without changing profiles or roles. So both can be part of this answer. Profiles or roles or and roles. Now or and it differs based on the, for example, now I'll answer this question so that you can understand the previous context. What is a report? A tool to analyze and display data, Salesforce data. But when we speak about the changing profiles part of the permission sets and the reports, it is similar to the itinerary, where we can understand the context, and as a report or the tool where we can understand the references, we can display the Salesforce data based on the analytics and not as a reference. What is the difference between report and dashboard? Report shows data. Dashboard visualizes multiple reports. Now when we have to differentiate report and dashboard, you should understand that understand the references. That is, if we want the report and dashboard as part of the curriculum, where dashboard helps us to understand the vertical. That is, if we want the dashboard to be enhanced, then we have to add the reports. The main difference is the OWT and the profile level settings. That's the main difference. What is a flow trigger? A record triggered flow that runs before or after save. So when it comes to flow and the parameters which you have to understand, if you say flow or before or after save, we can understand the and analyze the context. Now if we want to perform the flow trigger, and if we are happy with the save, that is before or after save, then it runs according to the debug and not log and not the executed references. What is a data loader? A bulk data import or export tool. This is easy, and you will understand that if we are using a data loader, we can add or even we can upsert few records. That means you can update and insert few records. What is a sandbox? A testing environment separate from production. So when it comes to sandbox and the references, we are clear with the context that a sandbox should be part of the environment. It should be separate from the production, but when we test the environment, it should be part of the curriculum. That is a deployment tool which you have to use. What is the what are the different what is the difference between sandbox types? Developer pro, partial copy, and full based on data and storage. So it is based on the data and storage, and the pricing is part of the curriculum based on the permissions as well. How do you handle deployment? Using sets or CI or CD tools depending on the project scale. Now based on the CI/CD tools, depending on the project scales, you will be able to handle the deployment without the iterations. That is, first the sanity testing can be part of the integration, but when we deploy the tool, the references will be put as a test case, not as a test result. Now, Codeforce Chronicles and admin track part of this curriculum, and this is the first video where I prepared the curriculum which will be part of your reference, where you can focus on admin fundamentals, execution clarity, and it is focused on admin fundamentals, execution clarity, and enterprise interview expectations. Learn with realism, not false guarantees. So when it comes to my course, I wouldn't place myself as a Salesforce coach if I don't understand your thought. That is, if you want me to be to help you to clear the interviews, you should be able to understand that the placement guarantee in my institute is not part of my curriculum.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And before I sign off and place my references to my viewers,
and subscribe.
I understand that I received 84 subscriptions because of your prayers and blessings. Then, as you prepare for interviews or real project delivery, remember this: technical skills make you noticed. Execution awareness earns trust. Perspective builds longevity. Choose depth over shortcuts. Choose clarity over word. If this session added value, like, share, and subscribe. One standard thoughtful Salesforce learning. Thank you for listening thoughtfully. This is Shruthi wishing you focus, discipline, and steady progress ahead. Thank you.